everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I'm Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman, and this show this evening is going to be TV only. We are not going to have a switchboard this evening. We're not going to have radio, so to speak. So, sorry, hold on just one moment, checking the sound. Sound check. Okay. And we're good. Good to go. All right. Anyway, so what I will do though tomorrow, and this is what I'm going to do, is my shows are going to basically be TV only, and the audio from all the TV shows will be uploaded onto radio the following day. And the radio stations we have accounts on, Goldylocks Productions, is Blog Talk Radio, and also Spreaker. So that's where the audio will be. And of course the video is on my YouTube channel, and it will be pretty much on social networks, and I do have it on my website as well. And also on my website is where the audio shows are. So there's lots of links and lots of information on my website. My website is www.whitesagewoman.com. I'm saying sage, S-A-G-E, whitesagewoman.com. And whether you're watching this show live or you're watching it in archives, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day or evening or whenever you're watching it and sitting in sacred circle with each and every one of us. It just feels great. The energy, just feel it all, just washing away any of the worries and the stress of the day. Let it just wash over you like an energy shower. Imagine like when you're in the shower and you're just letting that water, well, this is the energy. If you want to think of it in a form of water or fire, have it burn off, whatever you would like to do. Wind, whatever your element is, whatever feels right or good for you, just let it all melt off of you and away from you, and let it seep down into the earth where it's not harming the earth, because Mother Earth knows how to transform and balance these energies. And so that's what's happening. So just let it all go away. Now, I know a lot of people have a hard time maybe with meditation or just trying to find that quiet time. And meditation has been called so many things, but it's quiet time, silence time, and it's not that. That always confused me, I have to tell you. You know, you sit in silence. Sit in silence. Are you crazy? And I used to have terrible time starting off with meditation. You know, close my eyes. That's when, to me, my mind got even crazier with it, and even more active. I could sit there and just kind of, okay, let's, you know, but as soon as you close your eyes and it's like, okay, what's supposed to happen? What's happening? And then you have all these other thoughts that pop in, like, you know, what am I going to do later on? You know, and okay, now sit up straight, make sure you have good posture. Remember, your dad always said to have good posture. And this is how the mind goes, right? You're trying to, and the other part's like, shh, we're supposed to be meditating. No, hold on, you know, make sure, am I supposed to sit, am I sitting right? You know, am I okay? How come every time when you're really paying attention to your body, then it's like, oh, now I have an itch I have to scratch. You know, it's all sorts of things, you know, what we're listening to what's around you, and what was that noise? Or, you know, if you have pets, it's like, what are they doing? You know, that kind of, it's that distraction. The mind is always going, leaping from one thing right to the next. And so it's to, you know, I'm hungry. What am I going to make for dinner? Just things like that. Just planning the rest of your day just kind of seeps in. So I've been there. I understand that frustration and difficulty in meditating. Do you know what really helps me is just to go out into nature, just go outside. And I have pets, I have dogs, so they make you go outside, So I go outside and I sit down. I have rocking chairs out there. I sit in the rocking chair and let them play. While I just, again, take another deep breath, put my face to the sun, and just enjoy being connected to that vast and huge oneness. And I also feed the birds, so we have birds out there, and it's just so relaxing. That's very meditative to me. And so you can even have open eye meditation, right? What's relaxing? Being by the water, being, but nature like that with birds and trees, and just whatever is soothing for you, it should be good enough. It really is. I mean, do you have to go and I don't do yoga. I'm not a yoga person. Why would I even frustrate myself with trying to do what everyone else is doing for enlightenment? Okay, I'm going to get to enlightenment without having to do yoga, okay? And so will you. You don't have to do yoga. I'm sorry. That's not calming and peaceful for me. That's just going to make it worse. Anyway, the whole point is to get you to a nice, calm, relaxed space, not make you even more stressed. And so, whether you just do some stretching, just make sure you're getting some activity and some movement, that type of thing. Go for walks is the healthiest thing ever you could do, is walk. Go for a walk, that kind of thing. For me, what really helped then too was, because sometimes, you got to give your mind something to do. Reading is a form of meditation. And journaling, believe it or not. I mean, it's not, some people may think that that's a chore too. What would you rather do, journal or meditate? Do you have the same reaction with the choices? Really, I find the journaling is fun once you get started and you get into it, and it's like, oh, this is great. And when you get to the point where you are meditating every day, journaling every day, you're going to get to a point to where you just stop doing that, because you've transformed the doing into being. What do I mean by that? Is that I don't journal every day anymore. Oh my goodness, what was the point of journaling? The journaling helped connect me and my relationship with the angels and guides, and with those who are my highest and greatest. And once I establish that connection, I don't need to journal in order to have that connection and that open communication. So I will still do that every once in a while. I will still journal though, just to make sure, am I missing anything? That kind of thing, like a touch-in type of, all right. So it's just wanted to share that with you, because I feel like somebody needed to hear that about the meditation. Anyway, all right. So happy November. We are in November now, November 1st. Wow. This is going by quite fast. Usually it is, right? Once you get past Halloween, that's it. That's it. The rest of the year is going to go by really quickly. And many of us are already feeling the energies of 2017 now. There's nothing bad with that. All right. Now, those of you who watch my shows, know kind of like that, I'm going to say the routine, the structure. I like to give a crystal message and a power animal message, and then I also, prior to showtime, I ask for any angelic messages, any from light beings, and anyone that wants to show up with that type of message for all of us. And these are messages for all of us for the week. So the crystal message for the week for all of us is Howlite. 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 If you're not sure what this particular gemstone looks like, I do suggest that you Google it. So Howlite. And it is a stone of surrender and new beginnings. It promotes balanced change and new discoveries. This is most definitely the times and energies that we are in right now. So that is wonderful. So make sure you have, if you just like to amplify these energies, you can do so with some Howlite, with any of the crystals and gemstones. But if Howlite is being supportive this week, if this is the message that's coming through, then I know I have at least one piece of it. I'm going to have to go and locate it and just sit with it tomorrow. So, all right. Now, the power animal message that showed up and is very intrigued by that is fox. So, the fox represents persistence. Even though you surrendered, it's the persistence in that surrendering and that next level and that next step in the new discoveries. Cleverness, very clever. Stealth, feminine courage, and shape-shifting. Shape-shifting. Now, many of us feel that, a shapeshifter is physically doing this. To some degree, yes, but it's not like a total, okay, now I'm going to turn myself into a different type of being, whether it is an animal or, a fairy or, that type of thing. It's not in the lower vibration physical sense. It's actually shape-shifting is the ability to go in between all the dimensions, is to go into different dimensions. And we are shape-shifting. We really are. Even when we are sleeping and we're astral traveling and we're leaving our bodies, we are shifting from one form to the next. So it's we should look at the esoteric or spiritual meaning of shape-shifting, not the literal. And you'll find that, okay, so yes, we can take it literally to some degree, right? All right. Then the angel message is Archangel Ariel showed up. And the message from Archangel Ariel is one of love and joy. It's time to move forward with joy and love. And when you are joyful and laughing or having fun, you're essentially energizing these qualities and magnetizing more positive blessings into your life, and actually magnetizing yourself to the state of balance. Joy has the power to release obstacles and bring you into alignment with what you want and need and with what you love. So to align with your divine path and life's purpose follows the feeling of joy and bliss. Do what makes you feel inspired, happy, and alive. Take a moment now to consciously breathe, relax, and release any accumulated density or stress or heaviness that you have absorbed into the light and allowing joy to take its place. Joy and love. Archangel Ariel is quite active now, giving you the courage and strength required to stand in your power. Reclaim your full connection with the divine and experience a truly joyful, loving, and magical life. Make the time in your schedule each day to just simply play and enjoy your life. The choices you make today will set the stage for the next steps, for the next phase. And just keep choosing joy and love in the present moment to ensure a positive future. All right. Now, I do believe Ariel came, was it a couple of months ago? These are just very recent. This feels very similar to me, but this totally validates, though, the time frame that we're in these types of energies. It's very supportive of that. All right, so even if it may feel like we went really fast and we kind of stopped, we are always making progress. Know that. So I would like to discuss this evening. I always talk about, or usually it has been about, the ascension process spiritually, and I have been making some videos about body-wise, taking care of your body. I am an independent distributor for Nature Sunshine products. It's just herbals, natural and organic supplements, and essential oils, those types of things. But holistic health has been my focus for a very long time. So bringing it all together, mind, body, and soul, I would like to have another aspect for you of mind and body. All right, this is what we're going to talk about, the balancing of this, and it's going to be kind of fun. And when I say mind, we do have to feed it some, and this is where, to some degree, I like science supporting, and science more and more is supporting who we are as spiritual beings. They really are. And so what I like to talk about is and another topic of holistic health is Feng Shui. And this is nothing new for those who, like I said, have watched me and followed me, that this is, or I don't want to say follow, who walks beside me, and know that I just absolutely love Feng Shui, and it is very vital and very necessary, because if we are taking care of ourselves, mind, body, and soul, where do we live? We live in our homes, of course, what we call home. And that space needs to be healthy too, because if we're sick, the home can be sick, and your pets can be sick. Everything around you can be sick. It really does just spread out. It really does. And that's no fun. And many of us know, have you been to somebody's house and you're just, I've got to get out of here. I cannot sit here. I feel sick. Well, there you go. You feel uneasy. You feel like you can't be there anymore, and that's okay. Because what you're tapping into is disharmony that's happening. All right, inside and out of the home. Inside and out. So Feng Shui is about the balance, about balancing nature, bringing nature and your home to a balance. And you can always, there's so many topics on Feng Shui, but I do like to just suggest that you follow it loosely. I've seen people go overboard with it and actually create problems that wasn't there before. by over feng shui. So you have to be very, very careful. And the whole point of all of this is to get to a point of balance, not go from one extreme to the next. And that is anything, mind, body, and soul. All right? Going from one extreme to the next is not helpful either. The whole point is balance, balance. That's the whole focus. All right? So very interesting what I would like to talk about. This is something fun for everyone, but it is very effective, and it's another one of those things that bring you into focus on how much we are all connected, and you'll understand what I'm talking about, not just to other people, to our environment, to the earth. All right? And I've always thought that feng shui proves that connection to the earth. Well, here's something else too, a little bit more scientific terms, is geopathic stress. And that was something that I recently had came across when I had listened to a tele-summit recently, and I was just blown away by this man's presentation, this gentleman's presentation. And he also followed feng shui, and I'll share who he is with you in a few moments. But this is what the information that was shared. I hadn't heard of geopathic stress. It's actually a German term that was actually coined in the 50s. All right. So they knew that this was happening way back then. So let's talk about geopathic stress and geopathology. Webster's geo, of course, of the earth, pathology of the conditions, processes, or results of a particular disease. Yes. What are you talking about, Tiffany? All right. So geopathology is the study of the harmful aspects of the earth grid lines. All right. Underground water sources, earth faults and energy, vortexes, and their effects on our health and well-being. Absolutely. How many of you felt like you have an energy vortex that's not very positive on your property, in your home? You feel things on your property that isn't right. You know it's not part of you. It feels off. And yes, we like to think that all the earth grid lines are all beautiful. We're talking about the earth grid lines here. Okay, the grid lines on the actual earth, not above and around it, the universal grid lines too. There's different layers of earth grid lines, like the protective side of it, and then the actual, because remember, everything mirrors, the land mirrors the sky mirrors the land, so to speak. That's what we had always been taught recently, right? All right, so there's crucial information about environmental stresses in a home or workplace caused by earth-related irregularities called geopathic stress. So man-made disturbances, of course, just add to it. What am I talking about? Man-made disturbances? I'm sure we can think of some right now. Electromagnetic fields, EMFs, from cell phones, computers, and most technological appliances are also included here. So, European research throughout the last century correlates serious health challenges, including terminal illnesses such as cancer, with geopathic causes. In the early 1930s, some doctors believed geopathic stress was the sole reason for cancer. Today, we know there are usually several contributing factors leading to such illnesses, but it seems there is always a geopathic component included. So I think it's the 1950s before, so 1930s, all the way back in the 1930s then. So it's not saying that that is solely the cause of it, but I just feel like when all the ingredients are just right and in alignment, like they said, bam, it happens. Disease happens. And it's when there's a misalignment mind, body, and soul, isn't that inviting it? And then you're misaligned, so now you're attracted to live in a place that's maybe misaligned as well. So you can really feel like, oh my gosh, I'm just not winning here. But don't give up, and you can actually turn things around and fix some things. It's very, very rare. I mean, of course, it's not recommended that you live near any type of major power source like a power station or a cell phone tower. I mean, places like that. No, you really should move away from. Again, we have to figure out what all the factors are. And if you're really getting sick, you have to consider what's important here. Your health and your well-being. Absolutely. Should be very important. Or a family member's health and well-being too, so because it can affect everyone. All right, so geopathic fields exhaust the overall energy of the body. Today, more and more holistic doctors in Europe and even the United States agree that without addressing these causes, often by simply changing the sleeping place, treatments are less effective, and improvements cannot be sustained for very long before an illness reoccurs. So if not by taking care of everything, mind, body, and soul. All right. And we have to look at all factors in this. Okay, your environment is unhealthy. Okay. All right. So there is a 1970 study by Kathy. Let me see if I can say this name right. By Kathy Botchler. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, Kathy Botchler. 3,000 school children with learning disabilities and attention disorders, of course we know that, ADD, ADHD, etc., were tested. When investigated for geopathic stress, most of these cases showed serious levels of long-term exposure, most often to sleeping areas where children spent many hours a day. Further studies with adults suffering from general levels of low energy, what we call today chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS. A lot of people, you talk to them, that's the number one, I wish I had more energy. All right. They have heart conditions, circulatory problems, even depression. They had showed similar geopathic exposures. So how can one find out if there's geopathic stress is an issue for you? My first thing always is feel. Feel it. Trust that gut instinct. All right, but there's a number of questions to determine if geopathic, oh, I can't speak now. Geopathic stress is an issue and needs to be addressed, all right? So I do have found that geopathic and Feng Shui is used kind of interchangeably. You can see where the similarities are and where maybe different cultures are calling them different things, but it all really kind of falls hand in hand and means the same thing. So let's ask yourself now some questions. All right. How do you sleep through the night? How do you sleep? Do you feel rested and fresh in the morning? Or do you feel exhausted and beaten up? Do you need a long time to fall asleep? Geopathic stress keeps you up and wears you out. If the natural recovery mechanism between daily activity and nightly rest does not work properly, it is just a question of time when the body breaks down and the immune system becomes compromised. Absolutely. So do you regularly wake up during the night, especially 2 and 3 a.m.? Because geopathic stress has a maximum intensity between 2:30 and 3 a.m. It is strongly dependent on water and with the moon in its phases. The body charges up at night with geopathic energies until the uneasiness is so strong that one wakes up. Now, there's also another reason too. It was always because I always do wake up between like 2 and 4, sometimes 3 o'clock, but definitely between 2 and 4, sometimes 2 and 5. And you feel this shift, and maybe it's the geopathic stress right in line with what we have been told in the spiritual and psychic and intuitive field, that it's when the veil is the thinnest. But that veil, quite honestly, is disappearing at this time. So we can feel and sense more, and we feel our loved ones that come in. And so we're sensitive to everything. Maybe not just our loved ones, to every type of shift and change. So absolutely, I think this helps validate that you have intuitive abilities and very connected, so, and as long as you can go back to sleep and you're okay. I have told I gave specific instructions, whether it's setting healthy boundaries, about nighttime is my time to sleep. It's off duty, so to speak. I will talk to spirit, to loved ones, to my guides in the morning, unless it's really necessary, because I don't ever want to disconnect from my angels and guides and those for our highest and greatest. I never want to disconnect totally from them. That if there's something that they know I need, they will let me know via sleep, astral travel, whatever. But I'm talking about just the transient spirits sometimes that like to come by, or our loved ones, to please just hold off. Like loved ones we can meet in dream or astral time, but don't come to around the body area and wake me up. That kind of thing. And you can do that too, absolutely. Say, no, do not disturb. All right. So now, do you have small children in your family, and how are they sleeping too? So a baby or a child falling out of its bed is always moving from one side of the bed is a strong indication of a bad choice for its sleeping place. And it's always the same thing. It's not that it's like all over the place, but it's the child favors one part of the bed, okay, and not right in the middle, because it's like trying to get away from a spot that it does not like. All right. Babies are much more sensitive than adults and try to naturally avoid bad or those negative types of areas. If they cannot, they wake up crying and may experience nightmares. How is the attention and concentration of the children, school-age children in your home? The earlier mentioned study with 3,000 school children in Australia in the 70s resulted in a countrywide recommendation to rotate seating of the students in classrooms on a regular basis. This way, one child could not be exposed to draining earth energies all year long by sitting always in the same place. That's astounding. It's amazing. You know, the assigned seating, having to always sit in the same place. Okay, whatever. Never really resonated with me, but school didn't resonate with me either. The whole concept was just so misaligned. But anyway, okay. All right. Are there any chronic health issues that you or your member of your family has to cope with? Is there a history of cancer in your family? Several studies in Germany from as early as 1929 and 1930 showed an overwhelming correlation between cancer and exposure to geopathic stress. In 1934, many doctors believed geopathic stress was the main cause of cancer. Today, we know that geopathic stress is just one contributing factor, which, if not taken into consideration, seems to complicate and prolong recovery significantly. Yes, absolutely. Is it something that just triggers it? No. Again, I watched my mom activate cancer within her body, and we lived in one particular home. But when she was actually diagnosed, we lived in a different home. We had moved, and so does that mean that the place that we moved to was ill? I have to tell you, I really did feel like that property did have some issues. Sure. And it was just, again, the whole misalignment, mind, body, and soul. All right, and then that proper, just the right ingredient, the right combination. All right. And do I worry about getting cancer? No, because no, that's not my mission. And our DNA changes and alters very often, more than you realize, and we do not have to repeat ancestral pain and suffering. And what happened to somebody in our family does not have to happen to us, unless we try to manifest that, which we should not do that. Doesn't mean you love them any less if you don't want to be just like them. We're here for our own missions. All right? Okay. You want to honor your ancestors, light a candle for them, and it's fitting. This is All Saints Day or the Day of the Dead. Light a candle, remember your ancestors, and that's the way you remember, not mimicking their pain and suffering. All right? Okay, so back to, let's ask some questions here. And is there a health challenge that just suddenly occurred after you moved into a new home? Now, again, remember, you brought some of this. You were already misaligned, and you can attract misaligned places. So it was already there, and it just, like I said, the right ingredients, the perfect storm to trigger it. Okay? Stress makes us acidic. So no matter if it is physical stress when digesting junk food and processed food, emotional stress from job or family, or geometric stress in our bedroom. Acidity in general creates all this, creates this whole community of bacteria and viruses, and promotes yeast and infections. And I should say the bad bacteria, because we are bacteria. Really, our bodies are we are water and bacteria. So it creates the bad or the disharmony type of bacteria infections, and makes blood sticky and leads to cellular deterioration. So in summary, stress accelerates just everything from happening, accelerates disease, right? However, in its self-healing effort, a once healthy body can hold up for a while, on an average of 5 to 8 years, until becoming seriously compromised. So when you start to get on that path of healing, you become very sensitive to everything around you. You become very sensitive to what you're consuming, to even maybe what you're wearing. I've known some people that they have a reaction to certain types of, I can't wear this blend. All right, now I can't wear polyester anymore. Anything polyester, I've got to wear all cotton. They become very sensitive to their environment, and they start to feel the area around them, whether you want to call it the Feng Shui, the Geopathic stress, and they start to fix things. All right, and you can stay healthier longer that way when we make these corrections. All right, so do you have trouble? And this I thought was absolutely fascinating, because we've moved around a lot, several times, due to my husband was active military. And I immediately thought of this one home that we had issues with insects. A lot. The whole 6 years we were there. And do you have trouble with ants or other insects at home? Why? Because most insects thrive on geopathic stress. Ants always have their mounds built on a crossing of underground water and or grid lines. Think about where they build their hills. All right? That's a good indication right there. All right, so wasps, even ladybugs, are attracted to those fields. And bees produce up to 40% more honey in a geopathic stress zone. Isn't that fascinating? So you want your bees there, but you don't want to live there. It's kind of like, okay, put them in the backyard, or I'll put them there and we'll be over here. But anyway, insects love that. But they're not the only ones. Does your cat prefer, if you have a cat, a special spot on your bed, or a favorite, just a favorite place, whether it's a chair, a seating area, a favorite place in your home that they like? So, it is general knowledge among dowsers, those that like to douse, that cats are attracted to geopathic stress, and therefore gives us hints with with their preference for their favorite spots in the house. They will show you where it is. And interesting, they can stay in those spots without getting harmed like we would, or being, so sensitive to them. I mean, they're very sensitive. Cats are very sensitive. But they just are not affected by geopathic stress, and they will show you where it is in your house. So pretty much their favorite spots, they're showing you where the stress lines are. Most other animals are harmed just like we are, just like the humans. Horses, cows, pigs, and dogs get sick just like we do. If we are exposed to prolonged amounts of times with around or on geopathic stress. All right. And here are some more questions related to electromagnetic exposure, which has a similar deteriorating effect on our health. So now what if we live somewhere that has geopathic stress, and now we're going to add some man-made stuff to it? All right? Do you often get headaches when you talk on your cell phone or cordless phone for more than a few minutes? Well, we all know this. It's not, it's more and more is it coming out. We know this, that cell phones are a health hazard, and still unknown, with unknown consequences, at least that they don't, that they want to share. right? Have you ever noticed when you sign each time, have you ever read your contract? Do you know why you're signing a contract? You know, it's interesting that in the United States you have to sign a contract for a cell phone, but in any other country you don't. Because they probably disclose, but the United States does not. Have you ever read your contract? I've read it, and it does state this. All right, you are signing, you're acknowledging the potential dangers connected with the use of such a phone and waive any right to later sue for health related problems. Check out your contract. Haven't looked at it, check it out. All right. So you don't have a contract. I know some people some companies are, we're going to do away with contracts, but see if they make you sign something. All right. Because they usually do make you sign some type of, oh, well, here's terms and agreements. They might slip it in there. All right. Just sign it. Trust me. They're going to protect themselves because they know how dangerous it is. Do your children spend hours on their cell phones or computer games? How healthy do you think it is for kids with still developing brains to be exposed to those microwave frequencies? And nothing irks me more than to see a toddler or really anyone. We didn't let our sons have cell phones until 6. No, they were older. But 16, they started asking for them, and it was no. I mean, they're in their mid-20s now. 16, because that was really at the height of, oh, look, well, my friends have them. Well, good for them. That doesn't mean you're going to have them. But they didn't get them until, I think, maybe between 16 and 18. I can't remember the exact age, but we did make them wait. They did not have them at an early age, but now, because it's becoming such a way of society of having cell phones and tablets and wireless devices, and to see a child, a little kid holding them too, makes me cringe. But okay, keep your mouth shut. Don't upset the parents. Oh, anyway, all right. Of course, we know, do you feel drained after spending time in front of your computer? Maybe not so much with all the wire, and even if it's wired or plugged in. And then, do you feel different? Excuse me, with the wireless? All right, it's even more powerful, right? You're getting more exposed. Okay, of course, there's lots of evidence out there about how unhealthy a microwave oven is. Do your own research, please, people. I would not use these. I would not have these in your home at all. And as a matter of fact, can you just throw a microwave oven away? No, you can't. The way that you have to discard something gives a big clue as to how unhealthy it is during its use. Think about that. All right, so microwave ovens, and like I said, there's a lot of information out there on the disastrous effects of microwaves on the food, especially its water and in liquid. The heat produced in a microwave oven results from enhanced molecular vibration, which translates into heat. So a side effect of this is destructive of natural structures. It restructures the whole molecular setup of your food and water to something that is unhealthy. And we are made of 70 to 80% of water in our body, so especially vulnerable to this form of destruction. It's terrible. It really, really is. If you take microwaved water and feed it to a plant, you could kill a plant. You are restructuring it. And you remember, like in the Star Trek movies, you get into the oh gosh, no, I'm going blank here.
Transporter.
The transporter. Thank you. You go into the transporter. All right. So the microwave does jumble up all of that, but it doesn't put it back in the right order. It doesn't put it back in the right place. Or maybe we should say, think of the movie The Fly, where that happened. That, we can make laugh and joke, but it's serious what it does. It's really terrible. It really is very harmful. I don't care. Fast and easy is not always healthy for us. We've got to be very careful. What kind of fast and easy? But you don't have energy. It's a vicious, terrible loop cycle that you get in. Is I don't have energy, so I want to make something fast and quick and processed, which is not going to give you any more energy either. And it's just this vicious this cycle that we're in. And you got to stop. And you know what? I'm going to make healthier decisions. And you're going to find, oh, wow, look, I am eating healthier things. I'm getting my vegetable protein. I'm getting the vitamin C's and B's that I need. And the fat, our brain needs healthy fat. It's the omegas. And this is where depression, a lot of depression comes from. It's because our brain's not getting enough fat, good fat. All right, so when we start to realize and consume these things and help our body, guess what? We're going to have energy. We have energy enough to make sure that we can go to our kitchen and stay there long enough to make something that is going to just be beneficial for our body, not something quick and fast, because that's usually not very healthy. All right. And I've always said this with Feng Shui too. Do you keep a TV next to your bed or in your bedroom? So I do not agree at all. Never have. Having any type of electronics in the bedroom. Again, we did that with our sons. We had a family TV in the living room. We had one TV. The computers were downstairs. No electronics were allowed in the bedroom for the longest time. And then again, it's like the 16 when they're the teenagers, and it's I want my privacy. I want this. I want that. They didn't have TVs, but they would have their laptops, computer monitors, that type of thing. And so, but it was very, very careful with that, with the electronics. And what type of things can you do to make sure that you are taking care of your home's energy as well, especially with the electronics? There's a lot of great devices that are out there, and I'm going to share you a range of things. And by the way, I had recently gotten the telesummit that I sat in, and that information, a lot of it I knew. There's some, like I said, I didn't know the term geopathic stress. I just considered it all Feng Shui. Actually comes from, his name is Werner Brandmeier. If I'm pronouncing his last name, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. But he has his company is the Institute of Feng Shui and Geopathology in Maine. And I will have his information on my website soon. I'm trying to get the glare off of it. But it is, okay, the Institute of Feng Shui and Geopathy. What is his website? The Institute of Feng Shui.com. And then also geopathicstresssolutions.com. So I was very impressed with him. Now, he used to, how he got into this, because he lived in Germany, and he used to make, he was an engineer, electronic engineer. He used to make equipment for hospitals, like MRI machines, CT scan, those types of things. He's very good with that type of engineering. And then when he brought his family, or his I don't think they have children yet. When him and his wife moved to the States, then she started to get sick. It was they moved to a new place, and she went through her ordeal with cancer, and he started to develop a lot of geopathic stress solution type of devices. What do I mean by that is like little water and food harmonizers. He has a ray that you can like zap your food and water, and it changes the structure on it. It's really cool. You have to check out all his information on his website. And he does make those EMF harmonizers that goes on your cell phones and computers. They're the little round, where they're very thin. They're made out of gold, and you put them on your cell phones. You can put them on your laptops, computers, even your wireless router. Stick one on there. The more, the better. All right. So I had not used that tool, implemented that tool yet when I had heard this telesummit. So of course, I did get some of those and made sure that, and you want to be very careful in the quality, because you can get some from Amazon that are really cheap, and his isn't really expensive. But the thing is that I feel like they're worth it. They're not $20, but they're not $100 a pop either. They're kind of mid-range. But the thing is that he developed them himself. It wasn't he had this idea. He actually makes these products that he sells. It's very impressive. And so I definitely encourage you to check him out. I actually had a session with him because, just as psychics like to get messages from other psychics, right? And healers like to go get healing sessions from someone else, another healer. This is the same type of thing. I do practice Feng Shui, and didn't realize too, taking care of the geopathic stress, and as part of the whole mind, body, soul, and the whole complete holistic package. So of course I was like, I want to check up, I want to validate, am I doing everything correctly? And so I had a session with him, with a Weirner, and just okay. And we all know this is like how we can do distant healing. He can do distant dowsing. It's the same type of thing. And we all know what dowsing, most of us, I mean, you can Google it if you don't, whether it's using the rods or a pendulum, all right, or even yourself. Our bodies are very powerful pendulums. We have the answer as well. They can say muscle testing, but also very powerful. You can stand still and ask your body a question, and yes, you'll be pulled forward. No, you'll be pulled back. Body dowsing. You can use your body as well. There's a lot of information, and we can go more into that in another show. All right. But it was nice to get a checkup by someone else, and he had said, wow, that you did very well. He goes, you have crystals everywhere, don't you? And that's yes. Because crystals actually can manipulate and change the energy fields. Ha-ha. I have crystals. I have salt lamps in every room. And why did I do that is because across the street there is, and not on our side of the street, but we do have overhead power lines. There's a transformer over there. And our bedroom is in the front of the house and faces that. So I was, I just want to make like this force field, so to speak, this protective barrier all around. I have, I would recommend to, and again, this is not general, but yeah, it is. But if you want something really specific, we can have a session together. But I do recommend that people do bury at the corners of I hate to say your property, but the property that you're taking care of, because we don't own anything really. But on the four corners, just dig and put a little handful of amethyst and clear quartz crystals. Remember where you bury them, just so you know you're not digging them back up or whatever. So I like to do that. That protects. All right. And then there's so many, like I said, so many different things you can do. Salt lamps are and make sure that the Himalayan salt lamps, good quality salt lamps. Your crystals and gemstones in every room, and even outside, making sure that everything is placed just in harmony with nature, and not working against anything but for you, and is very protective. And he gave me, he's like, wow, he goes, you're doing everything really, really well. You're doing everything really good. So I got a clean check. It's like, yay! A clean bill of health, so to speak, for my for the home and the property, for the land. And so he gave me some good tips on some of the things that I hadn't considered, but it was all in all really great to get that confirmation that yes, because we do work really hard on trying to have that maintenance of holistic health and wellness. Absolutely. So we do like to make sure that we're on track that way, and that's what that was. And so again, if you need his information, I will be putting that on my website. I have a page on my website for recommended products. I do think it's something like that, recommended products, or anyway, look at that, and I will have his information up there, and you can check out his website as well. Book a session with him. I think it's wonderful. It's great to have so many different views, and everyone's on different paths, right? Of how we're healing, and not that one's better than the other, but it's great to see how they all come together. And that's what I really, really loved, was that he has a scientific background, and it is in harmony. He is in harmony with the whole mind, body, and soul. And so anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed the show, and it helps bring everything together a little bit more for you. Maybe you've learned some fun, interesting things and some ahas. But it just goes to show that, of course, we know that insects and animals are so in harmony and one with the earth, and we should be too. Our ancestors used to be very careful where they built, where they camped, or just where they would settle. All right, it wasn't just, oh, this looks good right here. They really made sure they doused the area. Even if they didn't call it geopathic stress, they knew the feng shui lines. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for that scientifically and physically, and trusting, of course, their gut intuition, which, guess what? It is in harmony with each other, with one another. It just helps validate. So we all know how we like to have sometimes that visual validation. And that's what we get with dowsing rods or dowsing tools. Like I said, even us, we are a dowsing tool. So, all right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to message me through my website. Again, that is www.whitesagewoman.com. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time and sitting in sacred circle with me and each and every one of us this evening. I hope you walk away feeling refreshed and like you've received a healing, and maybe some more more information now to help you feel more powerful, and to maybe add some more tools to your spiritual toolbox. So again, thank you everyone. May the obstacles to your flight be few, and the blessings along your journey be many. Good night.